Moero Pro Yaku was not an auspicious start to Jaleco's Moero series. Although visually impressive, it was plagued with bugs, and didn't properly implement the rules of baseball. So as they expand the series to their second sport, with Moero Pro Tennis, surely they won't make the same mistakes. Oh, Jaleco. Moero Pro Tennis brings us a few new things in the packaging. Jaleco is using this clear packaging now that will show the cartridge inside it. Also, they now use these white tall cartridges. They won't use that packaging style for everything, but most of their games will be packaged like this for the next 2 years, and almost all of their games will be in the same style of cartridge until the end of the Famicom's life. In Moero Pro Tennis, you have to play a series of tennis matches against some very thinly disguised tennis pros. They all have slightly different abilities, and those abilities improve as you win matches. As you run around, the A button does a lob, and the B button smashes. And when you serve, you have to send the ball up by pressing B, then press A as it's coming down. Okay, elephant in the room first. The female tennis players that you control flash their underwear at you when you swing the racket. Now I know that female tennis players aren't wearing panties underneath their skirt, though I strongly suspected that Googling "what do tennis players wear underneath their skirts" would have returned some very unhelpful results. The thing is, the intention is absolutely crystal clear in Moero Pro Tennis. I can't work up any proper outrage over a 30-year-old tennis game. Instead, my reaction is, really? You're really gonna do this? Moving along, you can check out all the tennis pros before you select yours, and then once players are selected, you get your choice of court surface, which affects the ball's bounce and speed. As you serve, I noticed that the game doesn't seem to have a double fault rule. That's where if you screw up service twice, then the other player gets a point. I also noticed that balls that landed just inside the area that you're allowed to serve to were counted as faults. During a volley, I find that the player's character tends to move very slowly, and the racket isn't very responsive to your button pushes. It often feels like it takes about 1/10 of a second before it starts to swing. In play, I found the ball virtually impossible to hit on the backcourt. The timing never seems to match right. The ball deflects off spots where I don't swing, and where I do swing often misses. But if you play closer to the net, you at least seem to be able to regularly hit the ball. I was not impressed with the AI in Moero Pro Tennis. Your opponent isn't particularly active, just kind of standing there waiting for the ball. It feels unnatural. Moero Pro Tennis has some big sprites, but I also feel like it doesn't really help the game. It means you have to scroll around the court, and I think they actually feel a bit oversized for the court that they're playing on. The one positive thing I can say about Moero Pro Tennis is that the digitized sound is pretty good. It's using the same chip that Jaleco used in Moero Pro Yaku, so you get digitized sounds of the ball hitting the court and the racket. You might think it's a small thing, but it genuinely adds something to the game. Unfortunately, the rest of that game is not good, and Moero Pro Tennis isn't even as well remembered as Moero Pro Yaku. I found one blog talking about it, and their entry basically came down to, "I've got nothing to talk about with this one." I do have something, though. Moero Pro Tennis is the third worst tennis game on the Famicom, and we've only seen 3 of them. Nintendo's now 4-year-old tennis beats this one hands down.